what was it like, Gene, to reunite with everybody? And because we meet Claire and it's been a several-year gap since we met her, what was was your approach to playing her any different this time?
Well, I knew she had been in the helicopter crash and had separated from her brother, and she had found this group of survivors. So the thing is, like, she was able to kind of explore a different part of humanity. The world slowed down for her. So this was the stuff that, you know, I did on my own, you know, because the movie moves so fast. These are questions and things that I had to answer for myself. And, you know, I think that when you're going nonstop and then you slow down, it gives you a chance to kind of put your guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
And she saw them trying to create this utopia in this world. They're, you know, growing wheat and, you know, creating different engines and, you know, really, you know, making this world. And I think that gave her hope in believing that maybe, you know, humankind can survive.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that.
No,
never put your guard down on the road to Resident Evil. Not smart.
You know, we don't really know that much about your character because we just meet him and he's one of the survivors. Did you work at all with Paul to develop him beforehand, or was it just?
As soon as I got to the set, I only had 5 days. They let me know a week before they started shooting. So I got there, I only had 5 days, and I went and I met Paul on the set while he was shooting all the scenes. And we went over a couple of things with the character and stuff, but pretty much he said, you know what, you're surviving.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're doing. You don't trust anyone there. My character doesn't trust anybody, and I'm not willing to give anything up for an outsider, which is Milla's character. When she comes, she's an outsider from my character, you know. And Christian, he's a tough guy. He doesn't, you know, he has a tough character, you know. So that makes the atmosphere kind of tense between all of them, and then things start getting difficult.
Were you surprised then when you find out? Because I mean, she is in a relationship when we meet her. She's seemingly more like level-headed than Alice is. Were you surprised when you were reading the script?
I was. Yeah. I was surprised, and I was like, how are we gonna do this? How is this gonna work? It's probably like the one scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but I think it does. You know, I think it's interesting. I think it slows the movie down for a second, and you can kind of see where they're going, and then you see, you know, Alice and Claire reconnect and kind of go after it together to help her answer the questions about her life.
I love the scene when you see each other for the first time in this movie, and it's brief, but there's a moment in your eyes when you see each other, and it's really well done. How much did you and Milla work on that scene together?
We just did it a lot of different ways. So that's kind of, for me, you know, I don't know how this movie's gonna be put together. This isn't Paul's mind. We could show up to shoot 1/8 of a page. It could take 4 days, or it could take, you know, we could have 4 pages that would be done in an hour and a half. So how things are gonna look at the end, I have no idea. And so for me, my job in these movies is to show up and to be malleable, to be able to give different things so that when they're putting this movie together, they can, you know, kind of fit in where it needs in the story.
Your character's a pretty big standout and like maybe the biggest set piece in the movie, which is hard to say because there's so many of them.
I know.
But there's that shot. What was it like shooting that scene? Were there a lot of extras? Was most of them just CGI? What was it like shooting it?
There were hundreds of extras dressed as zombies, man, and they, you know, it's pretty cool. It's very easy to get in character when you shoot things like this, you know. You're in a real world. Everything, when you look around, you see everything so real. You're looking ahead of you, you see all these zombies, you know, you're fighting all these zombies, and you know, Christian, my character, we had a sequence where he kills like 8 of them back to back, you know.
Yeah.
And we worked on, you know, I used to go to the set when I wasn't shooting to work on these scenes because it was kind of, we wanted to get it fast, you know, and you know, I gotta say that was, I think, one of the most exciting scenes that I've shot in my career. That was very exciting. That was very fun.